the next is the Martin-Gay Prealgebra, Introductory Algebra, Chapter 2, questions 11 through 15. So we look at question 11. We're back to those absolute value signs. How many steps away from 0 is 5? It is 5 times how many steps away from 0 is negative 10? It is 10 steps from 0. And 5 times 10 is 50. On number 12, this says the absolute value of negative 10 is divided by negative the absolute value of negative 5. So we do the absolute values first. The absolute value of negative 10 is how many steps away from 0 is negative 10, and it is 10 steps from 0. And we're dividing that by negative the absolute value of negative 5, which is 5. So now you have 10 divided by negative 5, and we follow our multiplication and division rules. We determine our signs. We have 1 plus and 1 minus, which means our answer is negative, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So this is your answer, is negative 2. Looking at number 13, now we're getting into where we have an addition and a division, and we're getting into what's called order of operation. An order of operations can be remembered by this sentence: please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. P means you're going to do your parentheses or your absolute value signs first. E is your exponents. Those are your squareds or your things that look like square roots. Multiplication and division come in the same family. So you're going to multiply or divide from left to right. And adding and subtracting come in the same family, so you're going to add and subtract from left to right. So here we have a subtraction, an addition, a division of a subtraction. So what comes first is this division. So you have a positive divided by a negative number. So going back to our multiplication and division rules, a positive and a negative is a negative. So I have a negative, and I have 9 divided by 3 is negative 3. So I bring along what's there. So I have, this is now my new problem. I now have a double symbol, plus and minus. So I write minus 8, a plus and a minus is a minus and a 3. I have 8 minus signs, and I have 3 minus signs. All I have said is minus signs. So I have lots more. I'm going to have a lot of minus signs, and I add them together, and I get minus 11. Question number 14. Here I have minus 7 plus negative 32 minus 12 plus 5. All I have are pluses and minuses, but I do have some double symbols in there, so I'm going to go ahead and circle those, and I'm going to rewrite this. Minus 7 minus 32 minus 12 plus 5. Now there's a couple of ways you can do this. You have a minus, and a minus. That's a lot of minus signs. So we'll just do those first. If you have 7 negative signs, 32 negative signs, 12 negative signs, we're going to be adding all those numbers up. We're not subtracting them, we're just adding them up. I'll put my 7 in its proper place. 7 and 9, 11, carry a 1, 3, 4, 5. So I have negative 51, that's what all of these add up to. Negative 51 plus 5. If I owe somebody $51, but all I can pay them is 5, I'm going to find the difference between that because I will owe them less. So I'm going to put that 5 down there, and I am going to subtract them, but my answer is still negative. I borrow from that 5, making this a 4, making this an 11. 11 take away 5 is 6. 4 take away nothing is 4, and my answer is negative 46. And then question 15 does some more order of operations. It has an exponent, and it has a division sign, and it has a subtraction sign, so it has lots of signs. So the first thing we do is our parentheses. Minus 5 cubed means minus 5 times minus 5 times minus 5. So a minus times a minus is a plus. 5 times 5 is 25 times minus 5. A plus times a minus is a minus. 25 times 5 is 125. Minus 24 divided by negative 3. So I'm going to do the division next. I did my parentheses first, but I'm not going to keep going in order. I must go in the order of operations. So each time you fix it, you bring everything else along. So I have the minus 125. Minus 24 divided by negative 3, because the minus stays with the sign, with the number. So a minus divided by a minus is a plus. 24 divided by 3 is 8. So then my last step is I have 125 minus signs, and I have 8 positive signs. So I'll put my 8 there, and I know I'm going to find that difference, but my answer is negative, because I still have a lot of negative. I borrow from that 2, making this a 1, making this a 15. 15 take away 8 is 7, 1, and 2. Oh, sorry, that's a 1. 1. 117, negative 117. And so those are questions 11 through 15. Thank you.